Keeping schools safer, how often one lawmaker wants to have active shooter drills.
Plus, visiting downtown Conway, what new dining option could mean for the area.
And redevelopment projects are well underway in Horry County, what this means for growth and how you can get involved.
You're watching Good Morning Carolinas on ABC 15 with Crystal Costa, Matt Barbour, and meteorologist Zach Covey.
Getting right to our top story with continuing coverage, dozens of students who survived last week's shooting at a South Florida high school are planning to confront lawmakers today and demand stricter gun control laws. 17 people died in that shooting, more than a dozen were hurt.
Students will hold a rally at the Florida State Capitol today in hopes of bringing attention to their call for action. We go now live to CNN's Karen Kinseth with the latest.
The students arrived here late last night after a 7-hour trek. Many of them boarded the bus after the funeral of another classmate. But these students say they don't want Parkland to be seen as just another mass shooting. They want it to be seen as a tragedy that became a catalyst for real change.
A warm welcome in Florida's capital last night for dozens of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School students. Just last Wednesday, they survived a mass shooting that took 17 members of their high school community. Then, funerals, vigils, and a spotlight they didn't ask for. Today in Tallahassee, persistence and insistence that state lawmakers listen to what they have to say.
Talking about mental health, background checks, assault rifles, just getting our voices heard face to face so they can't hide from us.
Some Parkland students were already at the Capitol yesterday when a bill banning assault weapons was essentially killed by the state's House of Representatives, highlighting the realities of the complex gun debate. But the students say their approach is unique, a message not only of citizens, but as survivors.
I think this one is different because we're all united together, past, present, and future. You know, we're here to secure the futures of our sons, daughters, and everything else that's yet to come.
Their time at the Capitol, just one opportunity to go face-to-face with lawmakers today. Senators Marco Rubio and Bill Nelson are among those who have accepted an invitation to a CNN town hall tonight with Parkland students, parents, and community members. President Trump declined an invitation but said yesterday he wants his administration to take steps toward making schools more secure.
We must do more to protect our children. We have to do more to protect our children.
And the White House says that later this afternoon, President Trump will take part in a listening session with people impacted by the Parkland shooting, but also Columbine and Sandy Hook. As for the students here in Tallahassee, in a couple hours, they'll start to fan out over the course of 70 meetings with lawmakers throughout the day, capping things off with a meeting with Governor Rick Scott before heading back to South Florida this evening. Live in Tallahassee, Florida this morning, I'm Karen Kinseth. Now back to you.
Thank you for that live report. Officials say the suspected shooter, Nicholas Cruz, had as many as 10 rifles in the last year or so. At least 3 of those guns were legally purchased in South Florida.
South Carolina lawmakers are now working on a bill that would require active shooter drills. Charleston and Dorchester Representative Marvin Pendarvis introduced this. Training would also be required for teachers. He's talking to parents now to find out what they think about his idea.
Conversation is centered around school safety and what can be done to address the issues that we have in our schools when it comes to the mass shootings that we've seen.
I am strongly for it. I talk to my children all the time about the shooters and honestly to play dead because there's nothing else to tell them anymore. And so I'm all for it.
Representative Wendell Gilliard introduced a bill just a few weeks ago requiring metal detectors in high schools. He's hoping to extend that to all schools after what happened in Florida.
New this morning, we are learning extra police will be at a school in the PD today after police say a possible threat was made on social media.
And we're following a story out of Mobile, Alabama from overnight where police say an officer was shot and killed on a call just hours ago. We go now live to ABC 15's Liz Cooper in the Breaking News Center.
Yeah, Chief Kirby with the Florence County Sheriff's Department says the extra deputies on campus today is a precaution. Several parents reached out to ABC 15 yesterday saying there was a threat posted on Snapchat. That post, they said, says, Lake City High School in Ace, I'm coming for you tomorrow morning. You haven't seen a school shooting yet. Some parents told us they're worried because you can't take anything for granted anymore with so many shootings across the nation. Parents say they are thankful there will be more officers at that school this morning. The extra deputies today come after the high school was put on lockdown for several hours yesterday. Police say a student threatened another student with a weapon, which turned out to be a BB gun. Police say they also found a rifle inside that student's car on campus. And in Alabama, we're following a developing story this morning. Our sister station in Mobile says an officer was shot and killed in the line of duty earlier this morning. Police say Officer Justin Billow was working a case overnight where a man was suspected of killing his ex-wife. Police say that man barricaded himself inside a home, and they say that's when Billow was shot and killed by that suspect. It happened just before midnight. Billow was taken to a local hospital and was in critical condition, where he later died a few hours later. The standoff between police lasted there for several hours as they tried to convince that suspected shooter to come out of his home and surrender. Police say that suspect was later found dead in his home around 3 o'clock this morning. That fallen officer had been with the department since January 2016. He leaves behind a wife and a 1-year-old child. Now, what local media there in Mobile says they're expecting an update from the chief of police this morning. Stay with us here on Good Morning Carolinas as we follow both of these stories.
All right, Liz Cooper live in the Breaking News Center. Thank you, Liz. We'll be checking in with her in just a bit. It is Wednesday. Thank you for waking up with us. I'm Crystal Costa.
I'm Matt Barbour. Your time now just about 6:06, and you walk outside and try to clear your eyes. It's not that you're not awake, or maybe that is the case, but it's foggy out there.
Yeah, it is very foggy, and you may not be awake. I mean, I'm struggling to stay awake today. You always have one of those days every single week. For some reason, today is that day for me. Dense fog advisory in effect across the area, and this will last until 10 a.m. Now, I just walked out to my car just a few minutes ago to grab something, and the fog really dense out here in Conway, down to a quarter of a mile, but I wouldn't even be surprised if it's down to 0 in some isolated spots around the city and around many of these cities too. I mean, a quarter of a mile in Florence and Johnsonville, Marion and Darlington. We'll be talking more about this fog as well as the science behind our next rain chances. That's coming up.
Right now, Horry County Police are looking for a mother and her baby. Police say they ran away from Georgia to avoid a, quote, bad situation with the baby's father. The woman who reported them missing says the mom got a ride to go look for a job on Saturday, but she has not been seen since. If you have any information that can help, call police. The Florence County woman charged in connection to a puppy mill will not be in court this week. We'd have to tell you the images you're about to see may be considered to be disturbing for some.
Donna Keller-Lee is charged with animal cruelty. Officials say 133 animals were taken from her property in Effingham in November. Animal control officers say many of the dogs were in bad health. Lee has asked for a jury trial. There's no word yet on when a new court date will be held.
Leaders in Conway approved a new ordinance to allow street-side dining. The new spaces will be called parklets. They will be set up in parking spaces there on the street. The ordinance requires them to be raised so they're the same height as the sidewalk. They'll need to have fencing as well. Leaders say it's more than just a benefit for the restaurants.
Most of the supporters of this obviously are restaurants because it impacts them, but I think when you see people out of doors and enjoying themselves downtown, it's going to benefit all of our retail merchants.
We spoke with the co-owner of Copper's restaurant as well. He's excited for the space and says with the added seating for customers, he just may need to hire more staff.
134 new jobs are coming to Horry County in the medical field. Encompass and Tidelands Health are joining together with a $23 million investment to build an inpatient rehabilitation hospital in Little River. The positions would be filled over the next 5 years. They'll be looking for physical therapists and case managers. We have all the information if you're interested at WPDE.com.
People who live in the Deerfield Plantation area in Horry County said they have new concerns over traffic. A redevelopment project is underway there. It's adding more residential homes. Some say the area was zoned for golfing and golf carts, not school buses and semi-trucks.
It's the traffic. It's a freeway. People will literally cut through the entire 17 bypass through up to 17 business just to get through to the other side if there's a wreck.
After all the construction is complete, both the north and south courses will have a total of 634 homes. And many of you have said you're concerned with the population boom here. ABC 15 News is hosting a town hall on the growth in Horry County. You can watch that Tuesday, February 27th at 7 o'clock in the evening right here on ABC 15, or you can be there in person. For all the information, just go to WPDE.com.
Breaking news, folks. We have learned the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile is touring the Grand Strand today. The 27-foot-long hot dog-shaped vehicle will be at Walmart's in Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach today and tomorrow.
Yeah, it makes for a great photo opportunity. You can also tour the inside of the Wienermobile, and you can also get that all-important Wienermobile whistle.
Well, there you go.
We have all the information where the Wienermobile is stopping at WPDE.com. So to come this morning, officials say one woman is facing charges for pretending to be a dentist.
Where she practiced, coming up.
The Stir Fried Oyster Roast and Bloody Mary contest coming up this weekend. Stick around to find out how you'll be helping an area just by coming.
A dense fog advisory is in effect. How long it lasts and how your roadway commute will be this morning. That's all ahead. First, a look at the beach and boating.